cuts and bruises, painful reminders from Arson Fern's escape from the crash.
I can't say I'm that okay, but we're lucky we're still all alive.
Alive but exhausted. Their son Arson Fern Jr. is in critical condition, suffering from internal injuries and broken bones.
We're gonna put him to sleep for a few days, maybe Sunday, and they're gonna continue on a operation again. And x-rays, they didn't get to his x-rays yet because of all the damage he's have.
Fern says he started to realize something was wrong right after takeoff.
Engines were roughing up back and forth like round, round, round.
The family was sitting just a few rows away from where the plane tore apart.
Bang! That's when it crashed.
The impact left a huge path of destruction. Fern saw photos from the scene for the first time today.
Crazy.
The event has left many people fearful to fly, but they may not have a choice. Fond-du-Lac is extremely remote. Boats are only available in the summer, and it hasn't been cold enough for an ice road yet. So the airport is extremely important.
We live in an isolated place. There's no road leading to our community. And the run road is short, narrow, and we don't have proper equipment to deal with emergencies such as the one we just experienced.
Meanwhile, the Transportation Safety Board continues its investigation. It hopes to release more information in the days ahead. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Regina.
But to get some insight into that, how that investigation will play out, I spoke with a veteran flight accident investigator, Larry Vance, earlier tonight. Vance worked for the TSB for over 20 years, and he looked at those photos and tells us what makes this crash a little bit different. Okay, so Larry, what do these photos show you? What's the first thing that stands out for you in terms of what happened?
Well, from what happened point of view, it's hard to tell exactly what caused this, if that's what you're getting at. But what I look at when I get to an accident site like this, first of all, I see the direction the airplane was traveling. I see that it went through, obviously, through some trees here. It went along some relatively flat ground, missed some big rocks over here. It went through trees, which slowed it down. Obviously, it was clipping trees. It took the leading edge of the wing here, beat up the nose some. But the other part is, the really neat part is that the fuselage stayed pretty much intact, which means that there was livable space for the people inside. The airplane slowed gradually, if you will, which means that it didn't take a big G-force. That explains why everybody lived. And, of course, the fact that there was no fire.
Right. So they wouldn't have died on impact.
They didn't die on impact.
And there was no fire. So, but fuel must have come out.
Oh, yeah. Fuel would have come out of there for sure. There would have been lots of fuel around there. But very fortunately for the people who were in the airplane, it didn't catch fire. Because had it caught fire, that would have gone up in no time at all. And unfortunately, there wouldn't have been survivors, very likely.
What about the way it crashed? The fact that there seems to be a big piece in the middle that's missing?
Yeah, that is not missing parts of the airplane. I believe that this is the airplane just opening up. Yeah, it would have hit something to stop it here. The tail would have kept going. It can't keep going, so it just cracked open like this. Probably some people came out through there, I would say. Wow. Yeah.
Are you surprised that everyone survived looking at those photos?
No. No, not really. No, I'm not surprised because they had livable space. If you look at the fuselage here, it's still all round. So there's nothing that crushed them to kill them, if you will. Yep. And there's no impact that killed them. There's no fire that killed them. So they lived. And they're very, very fortunate.
And the fact is, not only are crashes incredibly rare, you're actually more likely to survive a crash than not. A study by the National Transportation Safety Board found that between 1993 and 2000, there were 568 commercial plane crashes in the U.S., yet only 71 resulted in any fatalities at all. And this of the more than 53,000 passengers and crew on board those planes. More than 95% of those people survived.